Hey everybody, just a really quick look at one feature that I've been kind of thinking about lately, which is the follow rhythm of another track feature. You'll see this in the drummer track, right down here in the kick and the snare where it says follow, and you can choose which instrument to actually follow of all your available things. Now looking at the logic help tells us a couple things. First of all, it says that it has a list of recommended types of audio files using monophonic, polyphonic, or percussive instruments. Audio files contain notes playing the same beat, recorded without distortion, overdrive, or compression, and it says that you should analyze the audio content. Now today, I'm actually going to use MIDI because MIDI does work as well, even though I really didn't see that anywhere in there. Interesting. So let me show you. I did just a little test here, and the test I did was run the drummer track, two different drummers, two different styles, and then I just had MIDI files, one with just 4 beats, and then one with twice as many. And I went into the drummer, and I did the very first one, just the plain drummer track. Let's solo this out for you. Then I ran the drummer track following the 4 notes per bar, which is here, and then I did it with the 8 notes per bar. And I just want to talk a little bit about what I found because it was a little bit interesting. Now, for the most part, it says that this is for the snare and the kick, which is what we're seeing change here. So here's the first one, here's the second one. However, check this out. So it's not, even though it says here under kick and snare follow, we are indeed having some cymbals things change as well. Hi-hat and cymbal. Those have changed from the non-follow to the follow. Let me do both MIDI regions together, and you'll see a little bit of a difference there. We can even maybe do this a little bit better if we select all. No, not select all there. I want to select all here. And then you'll see ones that aren't selected pop up, which show a little bit of the difference. So that's fine. We get a lot of differences there. Partly, I thought at first that one of the differences was going to be how and where those the bass, the kick drum hits happen. So, for instance, we don't have them quite as often, and some of them fall in the off plates with that other MIDI file. So you can see just some really minor differences here. So this is without the follow, this is with the follow. You can see, like, for instance, this note and that note are changing. They're really gotten rid of, which I think kind of makes way for whatever else is there. However, when I go to the doubling of the notes, this is without the follow on. It's a very subtle difference between these two. Really just that kick is moving from one place to another. And again, I thought, well, maybe that's, well, it kind of changes the whole feel in some ways. And I don't know if I fully understand the logic behind doing that. So this is the follow with just the 4 notes. This is the follow with the 8. It's definitely reacting to it. So here's the second one. This is the Songwriter Style. And I did the exact same thing. So here's the original. And here's with the 4 notes. mostly the kick. But this one isn't cutting anything out to make room for things. It adds things in for both of the 4 to the 8. I think that's to match the style and the energy of the original, not to make way for it. Check out the other difference here with the hat. We have velocity differences there. So it's actually, again, changing the entire feel in a very subtle way. But adding a bunch more notes when we look at it in comparison with the 8-note pattern here. So the follow feature is definitely doing things. It's different from drummer to drummer because I did the exact same test and it was not, I mean, obviously the original patterns are different. So it seems to me that they're actually changing the rules per drummer and per style of music. However, it's not exactly clear either from the documentation or from just looking at this exactly what the changes are going to be and how to predict them. So sometimes it helps to actually convert the drummer track into MIDI like I did here, so then you can see exactly what it did and you can adapt it as much as you want. I also didn't look at varying the velocity of these notes, because perhaps that would vary the velocity of these now in the actual drum track. I will say that I'm just doing this with MIDI, so it's doing an analysis, but there's no audio analysis happening here. There's no instruments on these tracks. It's not listening to anything. It's just looking at the MIDI data itself. Anyway, just wanted to show kind of some of the stuff I found with this, and hopefully this is useful so you can really think about what that follow option does and be aware of how it's working with some of your notes. Even though I don't think we really have a definitive answer based on this, it's certainly telling us something about how the drummer's trying to either match the style or sometimes get out of the way of the other notes. It's doing both of those in different situations. Okay, anyway, that's it for this. I'll see you later this week.